This is a special episode of Channeling Prime Creator because today we're going to not only ask about the forecast for January, but the forecast for the entire 2022. So I'm curious, those of you who have watched my forecast in previous years, if you've tracked the accuracy of what Prime Creator has shared. I'd be very curious because I don't really pay attention sometimes. So I'd be curious if anyone's tracked that. Put it in the comments of the video or email me, let me know. All right, so we're going to ask about the forecast for January as well as for the full year. So we'll see which one Prime Creator wants to talk about first. Dear ones, for 2022, the theme is change, change, change. There will be so much changing on your planet Earth in your calendar year of 2022. These changes have been put into place or started in previous years, and now you will see more unfolding, more changes within the matrix systems, the old paradigm. You will see some of these systems, I won't say crumbling, but disintegrating and being rebuilt. The current timeline is such that as there is a disintegration, there is a simultaneous rebuilding, because much has been put into place to begin the rebuild. And so as the old paradigm is falling apart and no longer working, it will be replaced with higher functioning matrix systems. Now, some of these matrix systems will be mostly in service to the light. Some of them will still be shadow forces, driven by shadow forces. But the opportunity here, dear ones, is that even as the shadow is still attempting to enforce its agenda, there is great possibility for transmuting everything that is being rebuilt, transmuting it into the light and for a higher purpose. And so even though something may have been initiated by shadow forces, there is great opportunity for it to be used by the light and rearranged by the light. In other words, if certain things have been put into place by shadow forces with certain systems, the light can rearrange those systems and use it for the benefit of the good for humanity. Humanity is also truly awakening to the soul level, to the core. This is not happening for every human, but in 2022, it is likely that you will see enough humans awakening to their soul mission, awakening to the core of their truth, that momentum will now be generated for the years moving forward to create a new earth, heaven on earth, whatever words you would like to put to this. This will be a year of generating momentum for future years. In other words, not everything will be put into place this year for heaven on earth. Not every new project will be started, or not every new project will come to fruition, but things will be put into place to generate momentum for the years to come. There will still be some attempts by the shadow forces to manipulate the light, to control humanity, to enforce their agenda. There will still be attempts to create fear within the population. However, the power of these attempts will be diminished as the year goes by. And so, dear ones, if you experience throughout this year a sensation or a feeling like the shadow is winning again, this is an illusion. This is simply a burst of energy that the shadow is attempting to enforce within humanity. And it may feel very real, it may feel very strong at times, especially depending on where you are on the planet. But it is not something that will be able to be sustained. And I invite you, dear ones, to see it and feel it as illusion so that it can dissipate. Your energy that you hold around what might happen will be a driving force in humanity. In other words, if you remain calm and centered and grounded and in observation mode, you can allow these illusion forces to dissipate. If you yourself become in fear or buy into a narrative that the dark is gaining traction, then you perpetuate this energy into the collective field. And so, dear ones, it is very important that you are steadfast in your spiritual disciplines and ability to remain centered and grounded. There will continue to be a massive influx of solar energy to your planet, and this will assist in awakening the heart and awakening your power. There will continue to be a massive influx of galactic portal energy. What I mean by galactic portal energy is that there are portals opening within your galaxy that are aligning to planet Earth. And this alignment with the open energy coming to planet Earth provides a steady, more intense stream of light energy onto planet Earth. It is a beautiful alignment, dear ones, that will support the rebirth of your planet Earth. Your star families, your star brothers and sisters are fully engaged in supporting the rebirth of planet Earth. Yes, there are still some galactic agendas that do not want this, but those that are serving the light are aligning and creating alliances to support sending this type of light energy to planet Earth to serve humanity, to serve the ascension of Earth. There is beautiful heart expanding energy in these galactic portal openings and alignments. And perhaps, dear ones, if you take a deep breath, you can feel it now as I speak about it. This will be a steady build, dear ones. In other words, the energies have already begun and they will continue to build in frequency, in momentum, in alignment. For the most part, they will be very gentle on the human body as they are heart expanding. The solar energies may feel more intense to some as they are activating not just the heart, but also your soul codes and your power centers. And if your power centers are not already fully engaged, it can feel quite intense. But you are deeply supported in this, in the reception of these energies. The heart of the universe is also aligning to the heart of planet Earth. And you can imagine it, dear ones, as a heartbeat within the human body. Your heartbeat is steady, as is the heartbeat of Mother Earth, and now the heartbeat of the universe is beating in unison with humanity, with Mother Earth. And so, dear ones, there is great support this coming year for the heart of humanity to open, to awaken. There is a great universal invitation for the hearts of humans to open to truth, to their soul wisdom. These heart codes will assist humanity in unification, in coming together, regardless of coronavirus narratives, regardless of mandates to receive shots or wear face coverings. As the heart opens, humans will begin to see beyond these narratives and mandates. They will transcend what has occurred over the past 2 years. And you will begin to see a transmutation of the virus narratives, meaning that humans will begin to put less energy into trying to prove that they are right and others are wrong, and more energy into connecting again through the heart with their fellow humans. This also will lead to the generation of more momentum for creating heaven on earth. Because it is when humans come together at the heart that massive openings in the collective energy field are birthed. And what this means is that there is great possibility for the emerging of your new earth. And so I urge you, dear ones, to do everything in your power to connect with your fellow humans from your heart space. Even if it is someone that you have had trouble with in the past, if it is someone with whom you have had disagreements, or someone who did you wrong, so to speak, to keep your hearts open to that person or those people, because forgiveness and reunification is possible. I urge you, dear ones, not to write anyone out of your life. Now, if this is a case where someone has severely abused you, you do not need to allow them back into your life. But I do urge you, dear ones, to keep your heart open to the possibility of healing for yourself, for that other person, for both of you together. Because this heart-opening energy, these energies that are coming to you from the universal heart, from the solar codes, from the galactic portals that I have described, there is so much support and energy for the heart to blast open, to heal, to gain power. There is a tremendous amount of support for hearts to be healed, for issues that were petty in the past, for these issues to dissolve and no longer be relevant to your current relationships. And so those little things that got under your skin, so to speak, there's great opportunity for these types of things to dissolve and to not carry so much weight or emotional charge within your being. In fact, as your heart opens, your nervous system will rebalance. Your health can rebound very quickly. New opportunities can suddenly show up in your life as your heart opens and heals, as you become free from the pain of your past. All of this is very possible in your year of 2022, as the massive support for heart energy is flooding your planet Earth and the collective field for humanity.
Can we expect anything with technical stuff like free energy or the medbeds this next coming year?
Yes, dear one, this would fall into the category of momentum being generated. So in other words, you will likely not see a full distribution of this type of technology, but there will be pockets across the planet. In other words, there may be a city that sets up a spa where there is a med bed, or there may be small pockets of communities that have set up free energy and are utilizing this. The distribution for these types of things will come in the following years, but this is a year where this type of energy will be more grounded onto planet Earth, and this type of grounding is important before there is production and distribution of these things. In the quantum field, these things are already in existence and already working. But in physicality, you are at the very beginning stages of seeing this type of technology come into physical fruition.
What is the corona timeline right now? What can we expect according that corona is not existent? What is the most probable timeline for corona to be not existent, and that the people are not so caring for it anymore? Of course, I know that it will exist longer, but I mean, the people are. If the people are carrying it for it, if the people are dealing with it, yes, like before.
The current timeline is that, yes, this will always be in existence, but people will realize that it is not as big of a threat as they thought it was. And this will occur close to the spring, March through May of 2022. The winter, you will still most likely see the shadow forces attempting to enforce their agenda, attempting to enforce control on the population. But in the spring, things will begin to lighten up. And by the summer, it will not be as if it never existed, but the hearts of humanity will be much more focused on unification and much less focused on the narrative that has been perpetuated in the past 2 years.
And Prime Creator told about the dark ones getting stronger. What are they planning? What is there in the pipeline? What is there happening exactly?
Dear one, to clarify, it is not that they will be getting stronger, but they will attempt to show signs of strength. They will attempt to enforce some power. They are planning to continue to work with the coronavirus narrative, and they are wanting to release more threatening variants or mutations of the virus as support for people getting inoculations, as support for countries going into lockdown. There is a possibility of a false threat of a new planet that is going to disrupt planet Earth. In other words, this is not something that is real, but this is something that they might generate to put fear into the population. Because as you know, people who are in fear can be controlled. And so they may generate a narrative that says something like, this dark planet is coming close to planet Earth and will cause disruptions in the energy field of Earth and will cause disruptions in the poles of planet Earth. And they may perpetuate stories such as, when this planet comes close to planet Earth, it will create volcanoes and tornadoes and tsunamis and things of this nature. This is not a solid timeline. They may or may not release this narrative. But if it does happen, please understand, dear ones, that this is not truth. This is not something that will be happening.
But will it be good that this will appear? Because Prime Creator is telling that that when more negative energy is getting in, there is will be much more growth. Will this be a better timeline in order to awaken, or a less better time in order to awaken people?
Dear one, it depends upon how the information is released. In other words, and it depends upon the frequency of humanity as well. In other words, if humanity is at a higher frequency and this information is released through mainstream media outlets, most will see through the narrative. They will question. They will have a level of incredulity. They will not fully believe that something like this is possible, because you humans have not been taught that there are planets that can just come into orbit into your solar system. And so many will say this is nonsense. But if it is timed with other fear-based narratives, and humanity is at a low vibration in fear, then they may very well buy into this narrative. And in this case, this would not be a good scenario for humanity. So it depends on the timing of when information like this would be released. January will be an interesting juxtaposition of light and dark. For there will be a massive increase in the light energy coming to planet Earth. But because not enough of humanity is awakened at this point, this influx of light energy will reveal massive shadow energy. And those who are not yet discerning what is occurring may buy into this darkness. And so some will go into blissful states and joy and celebration and be greatly encouraged by what they are seeing and the light that they are feeling. And those who have not yet done their inner healing work and allowed an awakening of their minds and hearts may be very likely to sink into depression or move into psychotic states or sink into ill health. I am giving the worst case scenarios here, but this is possible for those who engage with the shadow force energies. And so what you can do, dear ones, those of you who are listening, is to set your intentions to embody as much light as possible, to channel and flow as much light as possible, and to remain committed to doing your inner healing work and to stay focused on what you are creating and your contributions to rebirthing the new earth. There are many listening to my messages that have great talent, great spiritual skill, great human skill. And it is time for you to put these skills into action. To not wait until the time is right, or it feels good, or you feel like you're supported. But to step out in faith, knowing that the time is right, knowing that you're supported, and to begin implementing and executing the skills you have gathered into grounded, practical solutions for planet Earth. And to know that you are not alone, you are not the only one who has these ideas and skills, and to come together to find others who are of like mind and like heart, and to come together to create momentum. Remember, this year is a year of generating momentum, and it begins in January as you set your sights on something higher, on something that is practical for the ascension of planet Earth, for moving forward in your everyday lives. In January, I invite you, dear ones, to utilize the one portal. In other words, since January is the first month of your year, there is a one energy that runs through that month. This is an energy of new beginnings, of jump-starting your creations. And so use this energy to align yourselves to your soul missions and to begin taking action steps to implement your missions. So you can pay attention to the dates and the numbers, and you can research numerology to learn more. But I will say January 1st, January 11th, January 12th, January 22nd. These are especially potent days for numerological alignment and opening portals for initiating and setting forth your missions. The best way you can use your month of January is, again, to stay centered and grounded and to be very focused on what you would like to create this year, what you would like to create for yourselves, for humanity, for the collective energy. Use this time to get clear. Use this time to align yourself to your soul. The voice of your soul will be very active in January. So I invite you to take some time to cultivate listening to what your soul has to say. I will talk a bit about creation from your soul, as this will become more and more relevant in the years to come. As I have spoken before, there is nothing wrong with ego creations. You will still have the liberty and the free choice to do this as you wish on your planet. However, for those of you who wish deep fulfillment within your being, creating from your soul desires will become more and more important to you. Those things that you may have thought were important in the past will have less significance in your lives as you orient yourself to your soul missions and what your soul has to say. Because the soul transcends this lifetime. It transcends your experience of being human. The soul has great depth and expanse and breadth. It has experienced many realms and realities and dimensions and pools of consciousness, and it has a depth of experience that your human aspect does not. And even though there is cellular memory within your human body of other experiences that you have had, the soul goes deeper than even this. And so I urge you to find ways to cultivate listening to the voice of your soul, because this will be your ultimate guide moving forward. If humanity wants heaven on earth, it comes from the soul. It comes from the heart codes. It does not come from ego desire. Again, there is nothing wrong with ego desire, but this does not create heaven on earth. What creates heaven on earth comes from the soul and the heart and the deepest parts of your being. The parts of yourself that are most whole and complete. So I come back to January to remind you that this is the time to become clear about what your soul desires. This is the time to become clear about how you want to express the missions of your soul. What do you want to execute? Where do you want to begin? It does not mean that you cannot change your soul expression at some point in your lifetime. But it is important to find that starting place if you haven't already. Many of you are already in motion. Many of you already have this clarity. But for those of you who do not, this is the month to get clear. It does not mean that you cannot get clarity in other months of this year. But there is a tremendous amount of alignment and support for this type of clarity to come in your month of January.
As you mentioned alignment several times now, I had a Zoom meeting December 11th, and there was something mentioned about alignment. And when I looked at the star program, that was about 8 o'clock Pacific time, I saw on that program alignment from the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Jupiter, and the Moon. Was there anything special or significant going on with energies?
You are talking about a past date, dear one.
Yes. December 11th.
This was an important alignment as it was a palindrome day. In other words, 12/11/21 is the same forwards as it is backwards if you take the last 2 digits of your year. It provided an opportunity for a flip, a flip in polarity, a flip in the energies. It allowed people to make a choice about which direction they would go energetically. In other words, would they follow the light? Would they follow the dark? It provided an opportunity for people to make that choice with there was a portal in that window of time that was open to support people in making that choice from the soul level. Many humans did not necessarily feel that or have conscious awareness of that. But there was a push in energy, so to speak, for people to make a choice about what direction they would go in moving forward.
I have a question according to the thing of ego. For example, if I want to bring myself things like free energy forward, would this be a thing of ego, or would this be a thing which comes from the soul?
Yes, dear one, beautiful question. It depends on where that desire comes from. In other words, someone can desire free energy and desire to control it and use it for their own gain, or someone can desire free energy with the intention of sharing it with all humanity and having the whole of humanity have this experience for the highest good. And these are 2 different places from which that desire could come. And so a desire for free energy could be ego-based or soul-based.
For example, if I would concentrate my creations more that I am doing it according to that the energy that it is being done. Yeah, I mean, in this way, I would. Is this a creation? Would that this would come from ego, or is this a creation from the soul?
What do you mean by you are doing it?
For example, I can generally say that I want that free energy is coming out. So it can be come forward through any source. Yeah. But for example, if I would focus on that I myself bring it forward, would this be a creation of ego, or is this a creation from the soul?
Again, dear one, it depends on your intention. If you are wanting it to come through you or from you because you want recognition or accolades or something of this nature, this would be ego-based. If you are wanting it to come through you or from you because you know that if it happens through you, you can serve more of humanity, this would be soul-based. And it can be a combination of both, dear ones. You can have a desire that comes from your soul, but would also feed your ego at the same time. So it is not always a clear line that sets one apart from the other. Dear ones, we are moving into times of great possibility. As always, it depends on the collective energy of humanity and what humans decide, how they decide to work together or not, how they decide to move forward or not. It is up to humanity to make these decisions. But I will say that the possibility is very great that humanity as a whole will decide to unify and work for the light. The timelines are moving in this direction. The energy is moving in this direction. Human hearts are moving in this direction. There is a desire within the hearts of many for unification, for connection at the heart, for cooperation. Of course, there are always a few that are disruptive to this process. There are always a few that do not desire this, as they are hungry for power and control and things of this nature. But for the most part, many humans are desiring a new way of living on this planet, working together, cooperating, playing together. And so this year of 2022 is your opportunity as humans to generate more momentum at the heart level for coming together, for cooperation, for community, for playing together, for loving together. There are powerful codes this year to assist humanity in moving in this direction. And so I invite you, those who are listening, to take these opportunities and to do everything in your power to come together, to join forces, to create new alliances with your fellow humans, to find those who are in heart resonance with you so that you can create and move forward. I am with you, dear ones, in this process. I am with you. I am you. You are me. You have power beyond your mental understanding. And I urge and invite you to awaken to this power with your intentions to use it for the highest alignments of all beings and all life everywhere. And if enough humans make this choice, there will be great celebration and entry into the new earth. This is all very possible, dear ones. It is, in fact, inevitable. But depending on how choices are made, there could be detours or snags along the way. And so it is up to humanity how to move forward. The timing and alignment of New Earth unfolding is up to humanity to some degree, to a very large degree. I think you, dear ones. I thank you. I wanted to briefly talk about this possibility of some dark planet narrative, because what I saw was this black sphere coming towards planet Earth, and I was trying to interpret the energy of that and what I was feeling from that. I don't know if it's a planet or something else, but that's the word that I could kind of find to describe what I saw. Again, I don't know if this is something that's even going to be perpetuated, if this is a narrative that will come out from the shadow forces. But in case it does, I just wanted to give you a little bit more detail about what I saw. It was just this shadowy black sphere that was coming towards Earth.
Yeah, maybe it is. I think Planet X, or it's.
It wasn't. It was something different, because I didn't actually speak to that, but I asked if that's what it was, and it was something different.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't have the capacity at the moment with everything I was trying to discern. I didn't have the capacity to remember to say that. But yeah, I did ask about that, and Prime Creator said it wasn't Planet X. It was something new, something different. So maybe it was like an asteroid or something. I don't know, but it was dark. It was a sphere. So I'm guessing maybe not an asteroid, because an asteroid isn't necessarily spherical.